Tattoos tell a story, one that's often misunderstood. They're not just about looking tough, they're a form of art, they're memories, and they're personal. This documentary digs into how tattoos have grown from rebel marks worn by gangs to artistic masterpieces used to express your personality and how they have changed throughout time. Today, we will be conducting interviews with tattoo artists, tattoo enthusiasts to try and get an unbiased approach on why tattoos are judged and how they've evolved over time. Today, I've managed to get in touch with a tattoo artist named Gary Robb, who I will be asking questions and hopefully getting some very detailed answers.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Gary.
And what do you do for a living?
I am a tattoo artist. I've been studying tattooing for the past 15 years.
Straight into the first question. How do you feel tattoos have evolved in their meaning and social acceptance over the years?
Social acceptance, I think, is generally on the positive now. You're still going to have that stigma associated with the older generation to how they perceive tattoos. It's still a bit of a taboo thing. It was generally associated with gangs or people in the Navy. But as a whole now, socially, I think it's a lot more accepted. The meaning, I think, is always kind of still being the same. You find generally a lot of people will get tattoos for their own specific meaning to them.
What do you think has influenced the shift in how society perceives tattoos?
I think that would be down to the likes of celebrities, a big influence on them. Back when I was learning tattooing, it was still quite not a very widespread thing. It was still quite taboo. And then you've seen the likes of a lot of celebrities. Examples, David Beckham with his angel on his back tattoo. And a lot more people then became a lot more interested in tattoos and didn't sort of perceive it in that negative sort of way. So I would say celebrities had the biggest influence.
Question. What's the most significant way that the tattoo industry has changed since you've been a part of it?
There's quite a few changes, but I would say the most significant, I'll cover that one first. You can be a total tattoo virgin, never even looked into it before. You can take to the likes of social media now and you're in that world straight away. You can see process from start to finish, the designing process, the actual tattooing, what kind of goes into it, all the aftercare advice even before you even step into a tattoo shop, which I think is good because you have a lot of people who are very nervous for their first tattoo, don't know what to really expect, and if they're going back to the stigma of how it used to be, it can be quite a scary experience. Whereas now, the fact that people can kind of look into it, it's seen as such a positive, happy atmosphere, they're not to be scared, it's not all heavy metal music and roars and all this sort of stuff, and even the machines are even quiet these days, which can be a bit less intimidating on people because the loud buzz of a coil machine could be quite intimidating as well. I think it's the whole transparency and everything's a lot more friendly now, as opposed to the whole rock and roll it used to be, stigmad. But even touching on that with the technology side of things as well, that's a massive change. When I got into it, it was all coil machines. Everything's turned rotary based now. It's the whole science that's kind of come along with it, with the massive popularity in the last 10 years of tattoos. That's induced a lot of testing as well. When I started, it was a case of, say, your black ink, you used to get the pigment in a powder form, you used to have to make it yourself, which is not the most ideal of scenarios. Same with the needles, you used to solder your own needles, whereas everything's all now pre-packaged, pre-sterilized, disposable based. So everything's a lot more safer now because you're removing that risk of any sort of cross-contaminations.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
I've managed to get in touch with a tattoo enthusiast named Liam. Hopefully he can give me some answers and maybe explain what his most meaningful tattoos are and whether he thinks tattoos are aggressive or not.
What made you want to get a tattoo?
Well, I think when I was younger, because I got my first tattoo when I was I think it was 16, 17. I just wanted to get one because everyone else was getting one. But then I quickly realised that the tattoo that I chose to get wasn't very good. So now, I think the inspiration behind tattoos has been they've all been to mean something. So some of them are for my son, some of them because I just like music, and then some are like tribute tattoos and memorial tattoos for family members. So that's partly the reason why I get a tattoo.
Which one's your most meaningful tattoo?
Most meaningful one, well, I've got a couple. So this one on my wrist here, I don't know, show the camera. That was a tribute to my granddad who just passed away recently because he was in a bike gang. I thought that would be a nice tribute. And the blackbird on the back here is for my son Rowan, because when my partner Steph was pregnant, the first time he kicked, he was listening to Blackbird by the Beatles. So they're the two most meaningful ones.
How do you feel tattoos have evolved over time, and do you think they've evolved too much?
I think over time there's been more of a shift to kind of like realism, and tattoo artists are getting more kind of not talented, but they're more in on their craft, if that makes sense. Like the tattoos that they're coming up with are more intricate than they were back then. Like, and there was a time when people used to just go in and pick a picture off the wall like a flash.
Yeah.
Where now there's a lot more custom work happening, which I think is good, because then it gets to show the artist's skills. But I don't think they've evolved too much. I think there's still the traditional stuff hanging around, like, you know, your American traditional, Japanese traditional, but there is a lot of realism coming through as well, which is good.
Yeah. What's your favourite tattoo design?
Design, kind of style like is traditional. I think that's just because that's mainly what I've got. But I like all sorts. I really like Japanese traditional stuff. I'd really like to get like a full leg sleeve of that. I think that would be cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
No bother. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Now I'm off to Newcastle Town Centre to try and interview members of the public about what they think of tattoos and how they perceive them. I'm hoping to get interviews with tattoo enthusiasts and people without tattoos so I can follow an unbiased approach. What are your opinions on tattoos?
I love a tattoo. Me, as you can see, I got a few myself. I think if you get them for a reason, they can mean a lot. But I think if you just get them to get them, you're a waste man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to have some meaning behind them. Like, you can't just get tattoos just to get tattoos.
Do you think people look aggressive with tattoos?
I know a few dickheads with tattoos, but I don't think they look aggressive, bro. They can, you know what I mean? Especially black men, but I don't think is that the stereotype? If you have tattoos, you're aggressive. I don't think so, bro. I have tattoos. I'm a calm guy.
I have tattoos, and
you know what I'm saying? We're all calm guys.
What are your personal opinions on tattoos?
I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's a form of self-expression, and I love seeing other people with tattoos and seeing their ways they've expressed themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think tattoos make people look aggressive?
No. I think aggressive people make people look aggressive, but
That's a good point.
it's got nothing to do with tattoos.
Do your tattoos boost your confidence in any way?
I would say yes, because I'm a very creative person, and even as a kid I would be drawing all over myself with henna and things like that, and I felt more like me. So now that I can like be dressed in that way all the time, definitely I'd say yeah.
Thank you. Looking back at all the information I have gathered during this documentary, through research and interviews, I have came to the conclusion that many people don't see tattoos as aggressive and mainly see them as an art and a way to express themselves and their feelings.